Allied Services Friday Night Rivals, presented by Tom Hesser Dealerships, is on MyTV WQMY.
Welcome inside Coach's Field at Tiger Stadium. We're near Catawissa in Columbia County. Tonight, it's a Pennsylvania Heartland Conference crossover matchup, the Backyard Brawl, as our Friday night rivals, team number 4, Mount Carmel, battles 12-time state champion Southern Columbia. Good evening, everyone. I'm Bob Ide, and welcome to week number 8 already of high school football here on MyTV WQMY. Joining me topside in the booth tonight, former Tunkhannock area coach John Seachak. Amanda Cool will join us from the sideline shortly. And Coach, as we take a look at the District 4 AA standings, kind of surprising, we see Mount Carmel, we see Troy, both undefeated, and in third place at 5-2 is Southern Columbia.
A place that Coach Roth hasn't seen in decades, and they are going to be fighting their way out tooth and claw, trying to gain that best spot they can for the playoffs.
Let's talk about the Red Tornadoes first. We knew coming into the season they had a big offensive line. The question marks were the skill positions. Well, they have answered those questions, including our Allied Services spotlight player, Xavier Diaz.
Number 10, the 5'6", 160-pound speedster, has got 9 touchdowns on the year. He just gets things done so quickly, but he's so patient when he runs behind that big offensive line.
Let's talk about the Tigers. They are on a 2-game winning streak, but injuries have plagued this team, including Wes Barnes. So that means we're going to see a lot of our other Allied spotlight player, and that is Braden Wisloski.
Braden Wisloski, who decided he's going to play at Maryland. Congratulations to him and his family. 13 touchdowns, 11 on the ground, 2 in the air, over 800 yards rushing. He plays defense. He's had 1 interception this year. He is their key guy on both sides of the ball.
His house is all decorated for Halloween, but he still had time to watch film. So let's give us keys to the game now.
Keys to the game for Southern Columbia. Coach Roth really wants to make sure that his defense stays on their schedule in terms of keeping them to 3rd and long positions, and they want to tackle really well. Now, for Mount Carmel, Coach Dara, a former player of mine, said that they want to stay offensively on schedule. They don't want to be in 3rd and long situations, and they really want to try to control that offensive and defensive side of the line.
You could not ask for a better night to play high school football in Columbia County. Let's check in now with the weather with Mike Susko from the Fox 56 News, first at 10.
Hey everyone, happy Friday night. This week's game between Mount Carmel and Southern Columbia looking good in terms of the weather especially. 52 degrees at kickoff and a clear sky. Winds will be around 5 to 10 miles per hour, so really not much of a factor this week here. And as we go into halftime, 49 with a clear sky, and we'll continue to see those temperatures fall throughout the evening into the overnight hours. Saturday morning will be in the low 40s to upper 30s, and we'll have your complete forecast on Fox 56 News at 10. But for right now, let's send it back out to the field.
The Tigers have won 14 straight over Mount Carmel. Is this the night the Red Tornadoes finally get that big win? We'll find out. It's number 4 Mount Carmel and Southern Columbia next.
You're watching Allied Services Friday Night Rivals, presented by Tom Hesser Dealerships on MyTV WQMY.
The Red Tornadoes trying to stay undefeated on this season, and the Southern Columbia Tigers trying to knock them off. We are back at the Backyard Brawl here on MyTV WQMY. 2 legendary programs, legendary coaches, and to tell us more about that, let's go down to Amanda on the field.
Thanks, Bob. Well, this is an atmosphere like no other. As you know, these 2 programs are 2 of the most successful programs in all of Pennsylvania. Mount Carmel is the most winningest team in Pennsylvania and 6th in the entire nation with 884 wins. On the other side, we have Coach Roth, who has 480 wins, making him the most winningest coach at any level in Pennsylvania. So we'll see if he can make it 481 tonight.
Well, Mount Carmel has something to say about it. This is the year. I mean, this is the year they have circled. They think they can knock off the Tigers here tonight.
And Mount Carmel has a definite edge on their offensive and defensive lines. I mean, almost 40 pounds across the board average towards Mount Carmel. And I know Coach Roth was really concerned about his offensive and defensive line taking on a bigger, more experienced lines like that. So this is going to be a great one. Great coaching against great physical attributes that Mount Carmel's bringing into this game tonight.
Well, Carmel hasn't beaten Southern Columbia since 2011.
Wow.
So 14 straight losses to the Tigers. That includes regular season. That includes District 4 playoffs like last year, last couple of years where they've met in the championship game right here. How much does that weigh on a team coming in?
It's always in the back of your mind as a coach and a player that you haven't had success. And, Bob, you alluded to it just a few minutes ago that this is the year for Mount Carmel. They are pinning everything on this game, coming in 7-0, red hot, and they feel as though it's their time to shine.
So Southern Columbia has won the toss. They deferred. We will see this offense from Mount Carmel, coach that is putting up 444 yards per game and pretty well balanced this year. Last year they ran for over 4,000 yards. That was a school record, and that's a school record that's been going back for a long time. But Coach Dara, he wanted to be more balanced, and he is this season.
And again, with his quarterback in there, Matt Belichick, he really has shown that he can throw the ball. He's got some deep threats there with Veronis out there and Shikatano as a tight end dragging across, and he's just a big lumbering target. So he's able to use all the weapons at his disposal.
So Isaac Carter will do the kicking. We've seen him the last couple of years, 7 touchbacks on the year. He has a good leg. Verano and Farinato will be back to receive this kick. So the backyard brawl and a beautiful night for high school football. We're in Columbia County, and we are all set here on MyTV and Friday Night Rivals. Our top 10 team, Mount Carmel, trying to stay undefeated, and we are underway in Catawissa. Right to the goal line. That's actually Xavier Diaz, our spotlight player. He's out of the open. Carter to beat. He cannot beat him, but a huge return on the opening kickoff for Mount Carmel.
Well, we talked about him in our pregame. He's our spotlight player. He gets his ball right at the goal line, and watch how they set up this wall for him. And he's got that blazing speed in there. Great job in there in that double team kick out.
Well, this one is being called back. Rich Snyder, our referee, making the early call, and this big return is negated by a holding call against Mount Carmel. So we'll back them up. Let's see where they're going to place it. There you saw our referees out of District 4. It will be placed at the 26-yard line. So this is Matthew Belichick. He is the sophomore quarterback. Cole Spears, the starter, is out for the season, but so far so good for this sophomore. No interceptions and 6 touchdowns.
What a great way to get a grasp of this offense as a sophomore first-year player controlling this.
Not much running room on the right side for Diaz. That is the Southern Columbia defense, giving up 18 points per game. Here now the Tom Hesser starting lineups. Diaz and Weiner will be in the backfield. We'll also see Luke Blessing as well. Pretty good receivers for Renato, Belichick, and Shikatano. We'll talk more about him, but really this is where it all starts, Coach. Big and huge up front.
They average 261 pounds across the board.
Farinato is through, and Farinato's in the Tiger territory all the way inside the 45-yard line.
They just ran that wing counter on that, and again, those big guys inside. Look at that, he comes back deep. It gives that offensive line time to, what they do is they allow the defensive line to come in, they drop step, and they just shield him off, and he's able to gain that huge amount of yardage right there.
35-yard gain for Farinato, who came in with 19 rushes on the season. Diaz trying to get the edge, gets about 5 yards. Let's take a look now at the Tom Hesser Southern Columbia defense, giving up 18 points a game this season. Tree Shock in the middle, 29 total tackles on the year. This is where they are very strong in the linebackers. And we'll talk more about Garrett Garcia out for the season. And then in the secondary, might be tested tonight against this Red Tornadoes passing game.
Well, you saw just that last play. They run a wing formation. They'll offset the fullback, then what they call a nub fullback there behind the tackle. to give you that illusion, and they're just going student body right and left, and now they're opening it up.
Play action down the middle. He's got a receiver. It's caught by Garrett Verano inside the 10.
Here's a replay of that. Great fake. That's one thing I've noticed on film, that the quarterback and the halfbacks, they do tremendous fakes in there. And Verano, look at that. Garrett Verano's 5'10", 165-pound senior. Snags that one, puts him inside the red zone.
After the Perfect Storm renovations first down, we're inside the Allied Services red zone, knocking on the door. They're at the 8 on the opening possession. Inside the Blessing. Still on his feet, fumbles the ball into the end zone, and it's picked up by the Tigers. A huge break for Southern Columbia, and it's another fumble, the 10th on the season for the Red Tornadoes, and that could be devastating here in the first quarter.
That's the bugaboo they've had, their Achilles heel. You see that they go with the fake sweep motion, and they just send Blessing up in there. Yeah, great job punching that ball out. And number 26 right there, he's looking, smartly goes down.
So Murphy picked up the ball. That is the 5th fumble recovery of the season for Southern Columbia, and they get the ball at the 20-yard line. So Blake Wise started second half of last season, led the team to a state championship, is underneath center. Good hole on that far side, 4-yard gain. Here is Blake Wise, who's a junior. They don't throw that much, just 433 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Well, his stats aren't super impressive, but you know what? When you're running a wing T, these guys definitely count on, and how they've done their success over decades is this wing T, and they run it to perfection.
So the Southern Columbia offense coming in averaging 33 points per game, 266 on the ground. Here's the inside to Biermas. So trying to get somewhere. Has a Perfect Storm renovations first down up to the 35.
Well, you saw on that was a little trickery there from Coach Roth early in the first quarter, a reverse on this. They run with the buck sweep, and they hand it off to Murphy coming back around. And Loudon's only 6 foot, 170-pound junior. So the future's looking really bright for him. They're giving him the touches, giving him that confidence.
Well, with Wes Barnes out until maybe the playoffs, they had to have someone step up besides Wisłowski. Hello, Biermas. Welcome to the game, says the big defensive lineman. And here is the Tom Hesser Southern Columbia offense. Of course, they run the wing T. There you saw the halfbacks led by Wisłowski. Receivers pretty good when they can get the ball. They may have to throw more tonight, and the offensive line, that's the question mark coming in, and that's what this offensive line has been hurt a little bit.
Well, they're only averaging 216 pounds across the board, so they're giving up 51 pounds against that big defensive line from Mount Carmel.
Wisłowski trying to get the edge. He can't. Maddox Reed, 63 tackles coming in, stops him for a minimal gain.
And they play that 3-4 defense, and you'll see that they just, every hole was plugged with a red jersey, red hat. And Wisłowski, for as fast as he is, he just couldn't get his feet going, stretching it out to the sideline.
Well, you think most teams, this is a passing down, but sometimes with this wing T, you see Coach Roth, he'll run the ball out of this. It is play action. Going down the sidelines to Wisłowski, and this one's intercepted. So 2 turnovers, Diaz pulls it in, and both teams have coughed it up here in the first 5 minutes of this game.
Well, right now they're just trying to figure this out. Again, it's a chess match, and he's got some time in there. He does get some pressure from big number 71, Nick Nesko up there, and he just overthrew that ball.
So this offense that pretty much went almost 75 yards on their last possession, but fumbled in the end zone, is back on the field. Let's see now if they can push it in. They average 44 points per game. But again, that fumble really cost them. Blessing weaving through the traffic just over the 50. Gain of 7. There's Coach Dara, his 8th season, 58-30 overall. Played at Wilkes, and his coach, one of his coaches, was the guy right next to me on my right-hand side, Jan Sicek.
I was, yeah, that's one of the places, one of my stops on my resume with Coach Sheptok, who was a Mount Carmel grad. And, yeah, Johnny was just a great defensive back for us.
Quick pitch again. This time Southern is there, maybe a loss of a yard. Ridden out of bounds by Fedorov. Also in there, Gavin Krebs.
And you'll see number 72, Maddox Lamaze, 6 foot, 240-pound junior, and number 71, Nick Nestico, 6'1", 280-pound senior. For the 3 plays now, those guys have been pulling to their right each side. So I guess Coach Daralick's going to the short side of the field.
Last week, Southern only gave up 8 points to Central Columbia. Let's see if they can stop this offense, and they might. There's a penalty flag comes in as Diaz moves forward, but this one's coming back for a hold. So a couple of early mistakes here from the Red Tornadoes. One was up in the opening kick, which Diaz took inside Tiger territory. They got called for a hold. Then they fumble, and now on a first down play, they get called for another hold.
Well, that was one of their bread and butter plays that they do. They pull the tight end and the guard from the left side. And when you have Matt Shikatano, 6'4", 275 pounds coming at you, he moves a lot of real estate.
And Shikatano headed to Coastal Carolina, who's really made a splash the last couple of years in Division I football. Headed down to Myrtle Beach. And as you mentioned, Braden Wisloski headed to Maryland to join C.J. Dupree out of Lakeland High School down with the Terps. So third down, they're going to go down and almost intercepted. Little bit short, and the Red Tornadoes will be forced to punt on fourth down.
Well, I'm sure somebody got a piece of that. Let's see if we can get that. Great job with our replay. Guys in the truck no.
Belichick just came out of his hand wrong.
Yeah, it just came. His fingers looked like someone bent his fingers back, like he was almost shot putting that.
Yeah, Chrisman was there. Maybe could have picked it off, but it kind of died. Jagodzinski, the sophomore, the punt. Oh, he chips this one, and it barely makes the line of scrimmage. Let's see where they're going to mark it. That one in the inside of his foot went straight up in the air. And it's going to be a negative punt of -2 or 3, it looks like.
Bob, you asked me earlier, is it in the back of your heads and what happens? Well, the mystique of the Southern Columbia Tigers, Mount Carmel is putting so much pressure on themselves right now. They're starting to implode a little bit. Again, he just had his toe pointing straight up as opposed to pointing out, and he just shanked that one.
So let's see if the Tigers can take advantage of this field position. They are definitely keying on the Maryland recruit. Nowhere to run for Wisloski. Lost 2 yards on that.
They're trying to run that blast play with the fullback leading up through. You see, and he just got bounced off. Again, we talked about big number 88, 275 pounds with 180 coming at you. The laws of physics go to the defensive end there.
Wisloski trying to get over the 1,000-yard mark tonight on the ground. Play action. Into the flat. Goes over the head of Madden. Here is the Tom Hesser defense for Mount Carmel, giving up just 12 points per game this season. There you see Shikatano in there. Going to Coastal Carolina. The linebackers are very active. Reed with 63 total tackles. And behind them, a very good secondary. including Garrett Verano. 1 interception for a touchdown on the year for the senior. So we're on Tornadoes playing tough defense. This is where you want Southern Columbia. You want them in 3rd and long, force them to put the ball up in the air. Weiss has a receiver, and it's in and out of his hands. Kozlowski had it but couldn't pull it in, and he was just behind the marker.
What I saw was number 7 was wide open on his release downfield.
Kozlowski just 7 catches on the year. The senior can't pull it in. Let's see now what Coach Roth, he has Isaac Carter on. So that means another punt. 4:47 left in this first quarter. Both teams have had their opportunities. Both teams unable to cash it in. Just gets this away. Did Farinano touch it? He did not. The ref goes out of bounds. There's a flag. He marks it just around the 10. Let's see what the flag is. It's going to be inside the 10, in fact. Did Farinano call a fair catch? Doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't. So I'm curious as to what he saw down there, what the officials saw, what they're going to discuss.
Fritz Snyder, the signer on District 4, also pretty good referee, has done some state championship games. So we'll hear from him.
No foul for an invalid catch.
Okay.
So here comes Mount Carmel off a 46-20 win over Hughesville. Before that, they 60-0 over Midwest to beat Bloom. But the big one for them is North Schuylkill. That is their rival. They won that game 25-17 to open the season.
Well, first game, and then losing your quarterback in there. So they had some growing pains to do, and that's, like you said, a crosstown rivalry that's kind of bitter.
That it is. So here come the Red Tornadoes, who haven't beaten Southern in 14 tries. They move it forward. Good run.
Well, the quarterback keep, you see they fake the jet sweep. And number 44 and 15, those are those wing backs and the nub fullback they have that come up and they start blocking the second-level linebackers.
So Belichick, again, just a sophomore. He's only been in a couple games. That's his 15th carry on the season. Spears was having himself a great junior year, 513 yards and 8 touchdowns before he got hurt in that Bloomsburg game. Belichick again. He's up for a perfect storm renovations. First down, powers his way to the 25.
There was a host of Tigers there that went for a rugby scrum in there, and he just, Belichick does a nice job with his feet. Designated, these are all designated quarterback keeps on this. This isn't broken plays. But look how ferocious the offensive line is. They're starting to now push their way around with the Tigers up front.
Well, Tigers are not very big up front, but they never really are. But this, I'm telling you, this Mount Carmel, this is almost like a college Division III line. Diaz is tripped up. Picks up about 3 near the 30. He goes down. And Diaz is having himself a good year. We talked about him in the pregame.
He's so explosive when he gets that ball. Just a toss play, and you see student body right. Again, being led by 72 and 71. They're pulling from their guard tackle spots with number 15 and 44 for just added protection.
So Mount Carmel will get the play from the field, from the sidelines, excuse me. They will all look at their wristbands. And then they will tee the ball up. Inside to Diaz, and he's going to be about a couple yards short. 5 yards for him.
And Tigers defense has to play very disciplined with this. They have so many things going on. They're going with misdirections. They're going, just everything that Mount Carmel does. They have to play home. They have to be disciplined in order for them to be successful tonight.
Just 2 pass attempts so far here in the first quarter. They throw for 169 yards per game on the season. They did have that big play to Verano. But back to Diaz, they go on the ground, and he shoots through. Can he be caught? He cannot. I don't see any flags down, and it's a Red Tornado touchdown.
Well, that touchdown run is, I said, their bread and butter play where they'll pull Shikatano from his tight end position and Kellen Geary, the 6', 250-pound senior. You see Shikatano in the center of your screen. He just pulls up inside, and there's just a huge hole, and then Diaz just lights the afterburners for the touchdown.
Junior's 6th touchdown on the year. Jagodzinski in. This has been in some trouble this year, but it's up and through. 2 minutes left in the first. Mount Carmel finally gets on the board. Leads 7-0. Jagodzinski kicks it off. Mount Carmel up 7-0 was Murphy, the carry. Thought it was Woloski. But Murphy carries it up, and Southern now 7-0 is down. To recap that scoring drive, 6 plays, 92 yards, all on the ground. Diaz goes 67 yards for the score.
And that was Coach Roth's, one of his concerns with their big offensive line, how their defensive line was going to be able to handle it. And that time, there was so much pressure put on them. And again, they're just doing, Mount Carmel's doing their base stuff. They're not doing anything tricky. They're just going to beat you up front with how big they are.
Let's see if this Tiger offense can get anything going. Just a little gap for Murphy, and Murphy, he breaks through, and he's up for a big gain to the 47. 23 on that.
That was a touchdown-saving tackle by the junior Jacob Schultz, number 15. Great burst in there. Look at this. You got just their buck sweep right in here coming in there. Very patient, looking, picking and choosing, turns the burners on, and look, he takes them for a ride there. I mean, I think if that was our spotlight player, Braden Wisloski, with his speed, I think he would be in the end zone.
This is Wisloski. He gets the edge, and he picks up 12 and goes out of bounds.
Very smart running from that young man. He knows he doesn't have to take a beating out there. He's been like their go-to guy, and you see that. Now they go with the sweep right. And he's just smart. He's looking, he goes 1, 2, okay, red hats, I'm going out of bounds, got a first down.
2 straight perfect storm renovations, first downs for the Tigers, trailing 7-0. Took both teams a couple of possessions to get the jitters out of them, but I think they have things in gear now.
Well, they
great,
go ahead,
great
Bob.
tackle by big number 77, Noah Shimko.
Well, he's a very large individual. And they just ran that blast inside. That's where that fullback is going to lead up through for the halfback, and they got a nice 4 yards on that.
Shipko with 35 total tackles on the year, 5 for a loss. He's just a sophomore. He's 290 pounds. Little stutter step from Wisloski, finds the hole, and he's got a perfect storm renovations first down. Gain of 16.
Boy, you can see when, here we go. They just go with that sweep again. And look at it, starts, stops, and he's just picking and choosing his battles in there. And he runs them over. Just a good measure there. He just says, you know what? Number 3, Maddox Reed, I'm coming at you, and I'm going to run you over.
Quick give on the inside. Birmas, and he shoots through. Gain of 8.
Well, it's a nice steady diet. I love that when they incorporate the fullback into the fold like that. And again, he blew that up for 8 yards because they're going to start to key on Wisloski and Murphy.
Southern proves you don't need a big offensive line to run this wing T.
Well, no, that's one of the beautiful things with the wing T's. You don't have to be huge.
We'll pick this point up in the second quarter. Red Tornadoes lead the Tigers. Second quarter on the way.
Welcome back to Friday Night Rivals on MyTV WQMY. After the first quarter, Mount Carmel leads Southern Columbia 7-0. Well, it's week 8, and that means it's the last week for you to nominate a family in need for our Raise the Roof giveaway with NEPA Builders. Toby Grisenda from NEPA Builders will be on hand at our final game of the season to announce our winner. Let's check in with Toby right now to learn more and to see how you can nominate one deserving family.
I'm Toby Grisenda, owner of NEPA Builders. I am proud to tell you about the Raising the Roof project. Raising the Roof is a partnership of NEPA Builders, 84 Lumber, and Fox 56 to replace a roof for a local family in need. We are excited to give back to the local families who need a helping hand. And we are reaching out to you, the people of Northeast PA, to send in nominations for a family that you feel could use a helping hand right now. Go to nepabldrs.com to nominate someone today. Join us in building a better Northeast.
Loudon Murphy goes in from 12 yards out, completes the drive for Southern Columbia.
That's the second time we've seen that double reverse that they run, and there was nothing there, and Murphy just scored from 12 yards out by being patient and picking and choosing the holes he wants to run.
And with the Isaac Carter PAT, we can tie this one up on the first play of the second quarter. We'll bobble on the snap. Gets it down, but the kick is up and through. So here's the touchdown one more time.
You see, look, here it is. They run that like they were going to run their buck sweep, and it's a reverse to their opposite wingman, 26, coming in, looking. He's just picking and choosing, dancing where he's going, and then he gives a little stiff arm to number 10, Diaz, saying, get out of my way, I'm going in.
Whitener almost had him in the backfield, but he was to escape that. He did, and we were tied at 7.
And you're seeing how and why this Southern Columbia team is so, they're so confident, because they know it's ingrained in them, in this community and in this program, that they're going to win, and they're going to find a way to win, and they're going to be patient. They're going to come out and just do what they do best, and that's run the ball at you.
6 plays, 76 yards. Counter the score from Mount Carmel. That's where we are right now. No common opponents for each team coming into the season, and a rarity. You add up the records from the opponents for both teams this year.
Okay.
They're both 26 and 23.
Wow.
Which is very unusual.
That is unusual.
You know, as I said, no one they played the same. They're two different divisions, Mount Carmel and Southern Columbia. In the PHAC, this is Diaz, who had an opening return, negated by a hole. This time he's unable to get past the 20-yard line. So Mount Carmel hasn't beaten this team since 2011. It was 22-21 in that game. 14 straight losses. But John Dare, he knows how important this game is. Played at Mount Carmel. Principal here, what, in the middle school?
At the middle school, yes. Yes, Bob, he is. Talking to their athletic director, they said there's a lot of history, and when these guys get jobs down in Mount Carmel, they put lots of different hats on.
They try to run the inside handoff to Farinato.
Farinato's had 4 touchdowns this year, and again, they're just running, and there it is, 15 and 44, lead blocking up in there, number 71, Nick Nestico, excuse me, got my tongue tied up here. He's just been doing, he's all over the field. He's pulling left and pulling right.
See, Coach Derrick goes to the air. Nobody's going to go quarterback's keeper. It's a perfect storm renovations first down for Belichick. And Belichick now. He got hit on that side, and he does not look good. Oh boy, Matt Belichick, the sophomore quarterback, is on the ground. Here, let's look at it again.
Comes up. This is, again, a design play, and he comes right up. Let's see where this hit comes in. Clean hit. He just goes right down.
Oh, that arm.
The arm is what I'm looking at. Oh, he's putting pressure on it. So here, great angle. Look at our crew is the tops. They are the best at what they do. Coming in through.
He got hit on the arm, and then it really turned the wrong way. We'll take a quick timeout. We hope he's okay. We'll be back. We'll check on the quarterback when we return.
UNB Bank is proud to be your hometown bank and fully supports high school football. With locations in Mount Carmel and New Media, UNB offers lending that's local, service that's personal, and banking that's trusted. UNB Bank, supporting our community for over a century.
We are back at Jim Roth Field at Tiger Stadium. A long, extended injury timeout for Matthew Belichick, the sophomore quarterback from Mount Carmel, who took a big hit. It looks like in his arm. It's in a splint. The ambulance is out. His parents are out. His brother is there, Chase, number 1, who's also on the team. And he just got a round of applause, and there you saw him stand up. So for Mount Carmel, it's the second quarterback lost this season. Cole Spears is out. He's injured. Belichick, now the sophomore, looks like he'll be out for a long time, and we wish him, his parents, and his family well to the young man. So that is the reason for this extended injury timeout here in this backyard brawl. Bob I, Jan Cechak, Amanda Kuhl here in Catawissa.
You see the support of his offensive linemen and running backs, receivers coming out to make sure, he's okay. They're, wishing him Godspeed and all the fastest healing possible. Our prayers and wishes go out to him and his family.
So with 10:34 left in the second quarter, we'll take a look at some standings from around District 4 since we're down here this week. Next week we'll be back in District 2, but there you saw Jersey Shore. I tell you, I think they're averaging over 60 points per game in every win. Heard a lot of good things about that team, and watch out for them. Milton has a big game tonight as well, and there you see Selinsgrove in the 4A standings right now. The 4 teams will make the playoffs in District 4.
Coach G down there at Jersey Shore has done an incredible job over the years. And just when you think that they're done, they come back even stronger.
They are winning tonight as well in their game.
That's good to see, Matt. He's talking to his teammates, his coaches, his parents, and it's unfortunate. And now we got to see what Gavin Marshall can do now to continue this drive and try to keep the Red Tornadoes on their course and on their path to try to get a win here at Tiger Stadium.
So third-string freshman quarterback in. He's played this year. He's 10 of 17, 169 yards for number 16 in the huddle. But this is where I think you're going to go back to this big offensive line and just pound that away. And he has thrown some, so you can mix in the pass a little bit. But so far, it's been that offensive line just giving a push.
And they're getting quite a push on there. And the play that I keep talking about is their bread and butter when they start pulling Matt Chicatano. 6'4", 275 pounds. And then they got their guards coming at you. Maddox Lewis, 240-pound, or Kellen Geary, 250-pound senior. That's a lot of people coming at you. And again, their defensive line is only averaging 220 pounds. So they're giving up quite a bit of disparity there.
So we've had this extended maybe almost 5 to 8 minutes right now of delay. What does this do for the psychology now of a Mount Carmel team, losing another quarterback and seeing – he's fine, which is really good news.
What that does is that's actually going to rally the troops around. And, Bob, you mentioned that, well, let's do what we do best. Let's run the ball. We're going to get behind those big seniors up front, and we're going to just let them handle this and see how this outcome comes. Now, I'm just concerned. I think the officials should say, all right, once the ambulance is off the field, let's give it 1 minute, let the guys warm up again. Because, again, it is a chilly night here in Catawissa.
We're tied at 7 in this backyard brawl. Both teams had a couple possessions before they really got things going. Mount Carmel had the first opportunity, the opening drive, and they fumbled into the end zone. Southern Columbia, on their following possession, got intercepted. So we've had a couple turnovers, but I think things have finally settled down here. And, of course, as you might expect in the backyard brawl, we have a huge crowd. A lot of standing patrons to our right near the scoreboard, and both stands are full of fans. So back to the game we go. It will be the freshman quarterback who will go into the shotgun with Langdon, the senior, to get it to him. First snap is a good one, and it's Blessing off the right-hand side. Luke Blessing, the sophomore, who had a nice game against North Schuylkill this year, 107 yards on 14 carries.
And they just come up with that inside power. 44 is the fullback, 15 coming up the overlap inside from his wing position. What Coach Dara is doing with that, it's kind of a little bit unconventional from what we've seen. And then last week's game with Crestwood, when we talk about unconventionality, the single wing, this is a little bit more progressive than what Coach Arcangeli does.
Freshman down the middle, nice pass, and he's got an open receiver. That is Schultz, the tight end. And Schultz, with a perfect storm renovations first down with a big game inside Tiger territory. Knocked out of bounds at the 18.
Great job. Again, that offensive line gives them plenty of time. Perfect spiral, perfect placement. He looks in, Schultz looks it in. Tuck that ball away. I'd like to see it in the other arm because he's going towards the sideline. And smartly goes out of bounds. Doesn't need to take any unnecessary hits at this point.
Our 50-yard gain, and boy, I'll tell you, that quarterback he had a nice spiral on that ball.
He
for
certainly
a freshman.
did. And a confidence booster right there. It's like, okay, next man up mentality for Mount Carmel.
Schultz's 12th catch on the year. Mount Carmel inside the Allied Services red zone. Blessing to the edge, cuts it back. Inside to the 5. Another perfect storm renovations first down. First and goal, Mount Carmel.
He hit, spins, and he dove forward to get to that 5-yard line. But watch the red tide coming at you right there. Those tornadoes are coming. One, a great job on the stalk block outside. 44 comes in, kicks out. 72's getting to some of it. And a nice job there. Great running by Blessing in there.
Blessing again, right side. Has a hole. Up to the 2. Fedorov in there. Along with Bloom. On the tackle.
Bob, you mentioned that they really don't huddle. The offensive line they get around the ball. They'll look over at Coach to get the call. You see Coach Dara right now looking down his play charts and saying, okay, red zone, we've got 2nd and 2. What do I like on this one? Wouldn't be surprised if they go back with, and again, I don't know what Coach calls it. I call it their bread and butter with Chicatano and one of the guards pulling.
Timeout, Mount Carmel. The play clock was running down, and you talked about getting the play in. It took a while for Coach Dara to figure it out.
Right. They want to make sure, as a coach, you want to make sure you're getting the right call in there. And he's talking to his offensive lineman and the quarterback, running back, saying, what are you thinking? Now, one thing I noticed, Bob, that they do a lot is they'll do a direct snap to the fullback, Ryan Widener, in there, the 6'2", 205-pound junior, because they set everything up so you start to fall asleep, and they do that. They catch it quick.
So it's a Blaze Alexander Family Dealerships timeout. 8:19 remaining in the first half. Had a little delay for an injury. And Mount Carmel trying to get back the lead. They led 7-0 before Southern countered with another touchdown drive of their own. So the Red Tornadoes, who last year ran for 4,284 yards, school record.
That's crazy.
Trying to pound this one in again.
4,000 yards. I mean, most schools are lucky if you have one running back that can get 1,000 yards or a quarterback that throws for 1,500.
Wildcat. Blessing going to keep it. And Blessing it is in for a Red Tornadoes touchdown. They capped this 7 plays, 79-yard drive. And the Red Tornado fans happy to see their team take the lead back.
Number 24, Luke Blessing, the 5'11", 185-pound sophomore. Look at that. That was that play I talked about. And then you see Shikatano acted as an official in there, putting his hands up saying touchdown.
So the all-important PAT is good by Yagodinsky, and the sophomore's kick is up and good, and Amanda has some special guests on the far side. Amanda, for Dr. Todd Smile Camp. Mount Carmel cheerleaders with the Dr. Todd Smile Camp. Plenty to smile about with their team winning by 7. 8:15 left in the first half.
Well, we saw what happened last time that Mount Carmel scored. The Tigers countered with a great offensive drive of their own for a touchdown. Let's see if they can do it again.
Gazinski, sophomore, nice leg from him. Had some troubles in PATs for this year, but so far so good tonight for the sophomore. He tees it up. Going to kick it away from Wisloski. Probably wise to do that. And this is Murphy trying to find anything. A lot of running to get to the 32-yard line. Here comes the Tiger offense back out on the field.
I liked how Murphy was picking and choosing, and he comes back, and then he does that stiff arm right at the end to gain that extra yard. You'll see there's nothing there. He turns it back inside. And watch right in here. He escapes, and then he comes up, and then it was right there with that stiff arm. Loudon Murphy, one of his favorite, his former Steeler running back is Le'Veon Bell. That's who he models himself after. I was given that information on their last drive.
Wisloski taken down by Schultz pretty hard. Southern fans didn't like it, but good tackle from number 15.
It looked like we were at a Cowboy here where steer, take the steer down. He just wraps them up. It's clean. It's legal. He just brings them down.
The junior had 23 tackles coming in, 5 for a loss. Well, one thing we know about Mount Carmel, they see this offense enough. They see some experienced players in there. Back to the inside and nowhere to go. Schultz and Reed there to make the tackle as they try to sneak in Carter Madden.
Carter Madden was the blast out back in there. That's where he's coming up inside trying to hit a linebacker. He got stopped and then driven back. And that just closed that hole up, and there was nowhere for him to run.
There's Blake Wise against Montoursville this year. Had 111 yards through the air. That's a career high for him. He was 4 of 8 in that game against the Warriors. His one interception so far tonight. Quick pitch. Wisloski nowhere to go. Taken down after a yard gain. Looked like Mr. Reed in there again.
Bob, we were talking earlier about the wing tee. It gives you angles and it gives you misdirection, so the defense has to kind of be slow to read. But the Mount Carmel, they are just driving and they're right in there. It looked like he tripped over Logan Sharrow, number 64, the 6'4", 200-pound senior. Wisloski had nowhere to run on that.
Nice kick by Isaac Carter. Red Tornadoes wisely get out of the way. Takes a nice Tiger roll inside the 15. They'll pick it up right there. 5:52 remaining in this first half. Red Tornadoes out in front by 7. Next week we head up to District 2 again. The Lackawanna Football Conference matchup, Division 1. Abington Heights is going to take on North Pocono. Week 9 already, Coach. Kind of figuring out who's going to make the playoffs, who's not. And, Mount Carmel ranked in the state. Southern, they win tonight, might be ranked in the state. We know Lakeland is in AA. Well, that would be a heck of a matchup if one of these two teams faced Lakeland in the Eastern Final, wouldn't it?
I'll tell you what, it would be a shootout if any of these teams against Lakeland. Coach Powarchek up there, I don't know what he's done. Those boys up there, they are playing great football, and the way he spreads that ball out. They come back with that reverse, and you see 15 and 44 right there coming into your screen. Again, that's where they're just trying to overload you with their running backs and fullbacks.
Diaz nowhere to go. Like Gavin Krebs comes in there, the junior, make the big hit. Third and long.
Nice stop by the Tigers on that. And smartly, what I liked is, as you saw on your screen, number 16, Marshlick, and I said earlier, this team does a tremendous job executing their fakes. So you don't know. And I don't think Coach Dara is going to be dialing up any more quarterback keeps anytime soon.
I have to go to the Wildcat if they lose this freshman quarterback. Looks left, comes back right. Has a receiver, but it's going to be well short of the first down. Farinado pulls it in. And 4th down and 2 now for the Red Tornadoes, and here comes the punt team.
Great ball. Look at that. Nice ball right there. Good placement. Again, that falls on the receiver sometimes. Have to remember they've got to know where the field awareness, where the sticks are to get that first down.
Very dangerous. Wozlowski back to receive at his 40. It's a kick, the sophomore, high hanging kick. Did not come up and catch it. Lets it roll, and it'll be down right around the 41-yard line. I'd like to see Wozlowski come up and catch that.
I was watching him come up as the ball was bouncing. That gives me agita as a coach. Get away from it. You don't want to field it. Get away.
So the Southern defense makes a stop. Got to feel good about that. Now if their offense can get back and going again, put up a score before the half. They have all 3 timeouts left, 3:42 left. Here in the backyard brawl. Couple turnovers in the first quarter for each team, but so far so good. As we go back to the Maryland Terp. Up for 2 goes Wozlowski, and last year he had 63 carries, 861 yards, but remember they had a Garcia in the backfield last year.
Oh, yes.
Had a couple yards.
Talk about a great running back family, the Garcias. Wow. And that was a devastating loss to them defensively as well.
For Garrett this year, and he was going to be in the offense. I mean, him and
But
Barnes and Wozlowski.
He was an awesome linebacker and still is. It's just that it's a shame that he can't be contributing for the Tigers right now.
Fumble. Wozlowski covers it back up. I think. Yep. He was trying to get it to Murphy, and that little inside give, and as it always is, it is dangerous.
And you'll see the penetration, all the red hats in there, and it just was a bad job on that with that reverse in there.
Loss of 6 now, and coming up on a 3rd and 14.
It's the first time we've seen
Weiss back, 3-step drop, going to lay it out for Wozlowski, and it's intercepted.
That's the first time we saw that balance set from the Tigers right now.
Picked off by number 4, Michael Farinado, his first INT of the year.
You see he sets back. He's got a little bit of time, some pressure. He just threw the ball in the general area, not to where his receiver is.
So now plenty of time for Mount Carmel with 2 timeouts left to get a score before the half.
Bob, is that the 3rd turnover tonight?
Yes.
Okay.
A fumble and 2 interceptions. For each team, you mean? Or
yes,
are you talking about
for the game, yeah.
Southern Columbia has two interceptions from on Blake Weiss. Came in with 2. That was 4 on the season. The freshman quarterback got handed off and nowhere to go for Diaz. Great tackle on the inside.
Fedorov.
Yep. Sophomore had a fantastic freshman year. Came in with 75 total tackles. He was a big contributor last year as well as a freshman, and 6 foot, 190 pounds.
Bob, we talked about the lack of size that Southern has, but they will play you tough. Their assignments, their gap responsibilities, these kids don't make mistakes like that. That's why they are so successful defensively.
Shalik's pass, trying to get it to Schultz way over his head. 3rd and long now. And, you know, that's to be expected from the freshman quarterback. His first pass downfield was really nice. That's a little harder to throw that far to the outside.
It really is. And then that play right there, number 62 for the Tigers was right up in his face, putting pressure on him. He threw that ball high and out of bounds, which is smart as opposed to trying to get another pick in here, which Mount Carmel does not want.
Coach Dare wants to talk this one over on 3rd and 10 with 1:36 remaining. If it goes incomplete, Tigers are going to get the ball back with 3 timeouts left.
And that's a lot of time for Coach Roth to formulate, to try to get another drive and try to punch the ball in one more time before the half.
There's what the Red Tornadoes faced this year. We talked about their opening win against North Schuylkill. Dunmore was 1-0 coming in. They had an upset over Old Forge, and then they lost, and now they're losing tonight to Western Wayne. And then some big wins in there, as you might expect. But then, a couple big games at the end. Of course, the Cole game against Shamokin at the end of the season.
And Shikellami's, a dark horse in there. I believe they were 5-2. No, they're not 5-2.
No.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Selinsgrove was 5-2.
Selinsgrove. I apologize.
No, they had a lot of injuries. Shikellamy, actually, I think in last place in that foray. Columbia Montour Voltec is there, but the Braves having a tough year. And Coach Kaiser. So after the Blaze Alexander Family Dealerships timeout, the freshman pumps, goes down, and tries to get it out to Verano. Well covered on the outside by Wisłowski. No room there, and Mount Carmel will punt. Clock stops. 90 seconds left.
Well, you'll see on this. The Tiger faithful was calling for an offensive pass interference. Yeah, they're a little push and then he grabbed.
These are well-educated fans. Let me know.
Yes, they are.
When you play so much football the Tigers do into December, sometimes the fans know what they're talking about. So Jagosinski needs a good punt. This one is pretty good. It's coming up, bobbled by Wisłowski. Former state champ sprinter gets it to midfield. Great field position, plenty of time left for the Tigers to tie this one up.
Boy, we talk about football's bounce funny. That one was lucky that it was Wisłowski that bounced right into his hands. He came up, it was end over end, and it bounced right back in. Nice spin move. He always is going to try to get to that outside so he can turn upfield to use that speed.
It's 2 punt returns this season for a touchdown, so you know how dangerous he can be with the ball. So movement is going to back them up. Carter Madden, the junior, moved.
On that punt return, I saw number 1 go down, and that is Chase Palachek. So I hope he was all right. He went down. He was laying down on the sideline after that return.
That'll be a tough night for that family.
And again, he plays one of the cornerback or the safety positions. Right
now, Verano's at safety. Quick one, and it almost picked off by Schultz. He was right there, and he was thinking pick six.
Wow.
Threw it right to him.
Well, I'll tell you what, if number 7 did get a piece of him, he was gone for the pick 6 on that, Bob.
Second down now after the incompletion on first down, and Mount Carmel's doing a nice job against this Tiger defense, or offense, excuse me. Really haven't had, except for that long drive, not much offense. Weiss, under pressure, down the middle, has a wide open receiver, it's Madden. And Madden pulls it in, and it's gonna be first and goal, Southern Columbia. A perfect storm renovations, first down.
We go back to the first quarter when they did go for that same pass patterns. He was wide open, and he found them this time. And look at the pressure he's underneath. There's red jerseys. They're up high arms.
46-yard gain, coach, and it's first and goal. Southern Columbia timeout on the field. 1:01 remaining for Mount Carmel. Wise has thrown a couple picks tonight, but that one was a nice pass and found a wide open. Madden, excuse me.
Madden did it again. I said he was open last time. He was open again this time. They're playing a cover 2 shell, and that's where he just dropped in between the corner, the 2 safeties on that one to set them up. Boy, I'll tell you what, this is what Coach Roth really wants and needs at this point.
4th catch on the year. 46 yards on that one. And the secondary for Mount Carmel got beat on that. They let the junior wide open. So still a full allotment of timeouts for Southern Columbia. Trying to tie this one up going into the break. They will get the ball to begin the third quarter. And coming up in the Toyota halftime report, Coach, as always, the Fox 56 News First and 10 crew will let us know what's coming up on the news tonight. Amanda Cool will have a special interview with our friends from Allied Services. Coach and I will be back in the booth with some stats and highlights and get you ready for the third quarter here in the Backyard Brawl. Madden to the 5. Clock still rolling.
And you see on this, it's just they go with their power I formation in there.
Up quickly. Madden again, trying to get a block, can't. And I'm sure we'll get a timeout from Southern Columbia. We will. Not much running room there. Good job by the Red Tornadoes defense. Farinado there.
The Tigers lined up in a double flanker formation and brought him around, Madden around from the right side to try to run to the left side.
When we talk about Southern Columbia losses this year, the very good Danville, very good Loyal Sock team. As we saw them this year, but then they righted the ship a bit. And looks like they won 4, couple straight coming in. That Central Columbia should be a win.
They really, I mean, when they had their first loss, everybody was like, oh my gosh, like in shock. And then again, when they had that second loss. But those teams that they've lost to are tremendous programs this year.
That's Central Columbia, that lost 49-14, that's to Danville. So 2 losses, Loyal Sock and Danville. As we know, they're the top 2 teams in AAA in District 4. And Southern showing why they are still legit in District 4 AA. 27 seconds left, third down and goal. Madden with a hole, touchdown Tigers. He hauled in the big pass, he got a couple carries, and he gets rewarded with the TD.
Absolutely, and he ended up, he's the hot hand right now, so let's give him the rock and let's see what happens. I mean, that was 3 plays right in a row to him. They line up in that full house backfield. The near back just dives into the tackle tight end gap. the fullback then takes the second level guy, and then you saw Madden goes in for the touchdown.
Caught around for the PAT, and we talked about how big that Mount Carmel third down play was, Coach. The Southern defense holds, gets the ball back with about 90 seconds left. They go 50 yards in 5 plays, and suddenly we're tied going into the break, most likely 23 seconds left.
Well, we know how dangerous, and I'm sure Coach Roth right now is going to say, do not kick the ball deep to Diaz.
You saw how explosive he is with the opening kickoff. It was returned well into Southern territory, but it was a holding call and brought it all the way back.
And Southern again countered Mount Carmel's touchdown with their own touchdown. And we talked earlier in the game that this is going to be a slugfest, and it really has turned into that.
Just joining us, starting quarterback for Mount Carmel, Matthew Belichick, a sophomore, who was their second string coming in because they already lost Cole Spears, has been taken to the hospital with what looks like an apparent arm injury. So they're down to the third quarterback, a freshman.
Who's got great poise back there, and he had that great, 56-yard pass, I believe, to start when he first came out here, took over that offense.
That might change the offensive approach for Coach Dara. We'll have to see what happens here. Carter's kick is long and deep, and will go into the end zone. And Mount Carmel, with no timeouts remaining, will have the ball at the 20-yard line, and you expect to see, most likely, a kneel, but you never know. So tied at 14. Amanda is going to catch up with Coach Dara as he goes up the hill, up to the school for halftime. See what Coach has to say, and he's happy with what he's seen. They've shown some glimpses as Mount Carmel, but Southern had that big play. Quick pitch. Diaz gets out of bounds.
Look at his acceleration, how he can start and stop on the dime. That's why he's been so dangerous to a lot of defenses this year. Just a quick toss play. You see student body right. Look at it, stop, juke, chop, and then he just puts the burners on, gets out of bounds smartly, seeing how they don't have any timeouts left.
Jake Hoy, the junior, pushed him out. Perfect Storm Renovations first down for Mount Carmel. Pick up almost 8 for Diaz. But long way away from even trying a field goal at the 35.
Well,
12 seconds left.
With Diaz's burst in there, something's going to give, and that's why they're just going to keep pounding it. And I understand Coach Dara likes going to the short side of the field. They've had a lot of success over the games that I've watched. They like going to that short side.
Three straight from Diaz. Adding on to his totals for the first half. He has a touchdown. Blessing has the other touchdown for Mount Carmel. And a long first half hopefully comes to an end soon. A long break due to the injury.
Coach Dara walked all the way down to his 40, and now he's walking back towards the offensive line.
Again, a pitch to Diaz, nowhere to go. That one was read nicely by the Southern Columbia defense, Gavin Krebs, and that will do it. Backyard brawl, first half is in the books, and we're tied at 14. Both teams have showed some good offense, played good defense as expected. Amanda going to try to catch up with Coach Dara, former Wilkes Colonel player, and see what he has to say. And see what he has to say about his quarterback. Amanda, let's go down to you now.
Coach, your team is facing some adversity. You have Gavin coming in as a true freshman. What's your message to Gavin and the team coming into the second?
We're used to facing adversity. It doesn't change our game plan at all. We just got to rise above it and overcome it.
Is there any adjustments that we can expect to see?
Obviously things will change a little bit with the different quarterback in there, but we'll make those adjustments at halftime. We'll be ready to roll.
Thanks, Coach. Good luck in the second.
Thank you.
Coming up, the Toyota halftime report is on the other side, and Jan and I will be back with stats and highlights in just a bit here in Catawissa.
Welcome back to Friday Night Rivals on MyTV WQMY. Amanda Cool here, joined by Caitlin Bailey from Allied Services. Caitlin, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. Caitlin, can you tell me what your position is here at Allied and talk to me what your role is?
So my position currently is assistant administrator, and my role can vary every day. I wear many hats. It can go from the operations end of everything, or it can be a little bit more resident-centered, but each day is an adventure, that's for sure.
I know there's lots of locations at Allied. Which location are you at?
I'm at the Center City location. It's in the heart of Wilkes-Barre. It's right in the downtown. It's 80 East Northampton Street.
Caitlin, what services are provided at your Center City location?
So at Center City, we have a skilled nursing and rehab, and we also have independent living apartments.
Can you talk to me a little bit more about your skilled nursing program?
Absolutely. So skilled nursing is for somebody that needs a little bit of rehab in the therapy, or they might need some more clinical guidance, like if they have an IV antibiotic, or if they just need some rehab because they just had a knee replacement or a hip replacement. But we also have the long-term care too, so that if somebody isn't managing well at home, they can come and they can stay with us long-term.
And what about those independent living apartments that you have? Can you tell us more about those?
Absolutely. So the independent living apartments are one-bedroom apartments. They have a kitchen, a living room, a patio if it's on the first floor, and a bedroom. We provide 2 meals a day and all of the utilities, including the cable. And then there's the opportunity for if they need transportation. We also have a chapel on site. We have a beauty shop. The goal is just to make it a little bit more easy living for them as they age.
Is there any requirements for the people to get into that independent living program?
No, no requirements. If anyone's interested, they can just give me a call. They can come down for a tour. We can have a chat and we can go from there.
Awesome. Now, are you hiring on your team at the Center City location?
So we are hiring. Allied is always looking for individuals. No matter what your healthcare passion is, I guarantee Allied has a position that would fit you.
What are you looking for in somebody that you would want to join your team?
I just want somebody that wants to be a part of healthcare. You know, you can teach somebody to do anything, but you cannot teach somebody to have a passion. And that is basically just what we look for.
What do you love about being a part of the team here at Allied Services?
So I love that Allied embraces who I am as an individual, and that they have rewarded my ambition to grow within Allied, and they let me continue to take opportunities to fulfill my career.
What's the most rewarding thing for you when you go home at night, when you leave?
So the most rewarding thing about my job right now is that I get to advocate for my residents, I get to be a resource for my staff, and I get to be a support for the families. And I can't think of anything else more rewarding than that.
Can you talk to me a little bit more about that support for the families? I know it's so important.
Absolutely. So no one plans to go to a skilled nursing. It's usually in a crisis situation. So when they call me, they're usually not their best self. We can answer questions, we can provide emotional support, we can tell them the what's next step. But we have found that if the transition's a little bit smoother for the family, it's guaranteed to be a little bit smoother for the resident too.
Absolutely. Caitlin, thank you so much for joining us. Stick with us. We'll be right back with more football coming up with the kickoff from the second half.
I'm Bill Conaboy. I'm President and CEO of Allied Services Integrated Healthcare System. On behalf of our 3,500 employees, we are thrilled to once again be a sponsor of Friday Night Rivals. I grew up in this community and I know what high school football means to this community. We wish all the parents, the students, and the staff the best of luck in the coming football season.
On behalf of Allied Services and MyTV WQMY, we're happy to donate $250 to the Southern Columbia School District. And on hand, the principal of the high school, Bill Callahan. Good to see him again. And yeah, we always love coming down here to Tiger Country. I mean, this is really high school football, what it's about. Great foliage out there, and, you know, just a great night of high school football in Pennsylvania.
And the facilities here at Southern Columbia are second to none. I mean, they've established themselves with how many state championships, and their facilities match it. It's just incredible.
Let's talk about this backyard brawl. Mount Carmel came out, got right down the field, but they fumbled into the end zone to begin the game. Southern Columbia comes back. They have an interception. Things settled down a bit. Mount Carmel led 7-0, but then now we're tied at 14. 3 touchdowns in that second quarter, 2 from Southern, 1 from Mount Carmel.
Well, it was the M&M show, Madden and Murphy for Southern Columbia, and then we saw Blessing and Diaz for MCA there. So it's just amazing how on our hit charts, the 2 running backs for each team have done the scoring, and right now we're looking at Mount Carmel, I believe, has outgained them on the ground so far against Southern Columbia.
Well, they've had the longer drives,
Yes.
where Southern tied it up with a 50-yard drive on 5 plays. Madden took that one in, but, a couple turnovers from Weiss, but he's right at the ship, found Madden on that big play. And, he can get things going that might open up Southern Columbia and be a little more balanced as well.
And Coach Roth is going to come out with a great game plan that they're going to have to execute. You saw Coach Dara going into halftime. Facing the adversity they have, they lost their starting quarterback, and then they lost their backup quarterback. Now they're on their freshman quarterback, so it's going to change their offense. But, Bob, we know they're going to rely on that big offensive line and defensive line that Mount Carmel has.
Let's take a look at the first half highlights. As we mentioned, Mount Carmel got on the board first behind the running of Xavier Diaz and that big offensive line.
And he's just off to the races. He's got great speed and great burst through the line. And he just made that look really easy right there. Southern responds with a double reverse in here, and he just picks and chooses, bobs and weaves his way into the touchdown.
Mount Carmel counters another long drive of their own. Blessing takes it in.
And we saw that was after the freshman quarterback came in for a 56-yard strike. Now, Southern answers with, look at this. They're going to the air also. Another huge touchdown, set up in the red zone. And there he goes in there. Madden, who had the reception, had 3 carries prior to that for the touchdown.
Both teams on the field. We'll take a quick timeout. The backyard brawl continues on the other side here from Catawissa. Well, what a great night for high school football. Capacity crowd here. Southern Columbia. We're in Catawissa, right down the road from Knoebels, which I didn't get to this year. We're kind of disappointed, but that's another story for another day, Coach. But I told you could have brought your RV down here, right down the road. The J&D's there, or maybe you go up to New Media.
Well, we're thinking about it, but again, we're gonna debut it when it's ready. We redid the interior, and it's not quite done yet. So. The boss said to me, I asked her, I said, maybe we'll take it down. She said, we're not ready yet. So.
Well, we would have loved to have it here. Love to have it. But, hey, we are ready for the second half. Let's talk keys. Second half keys for each team. What are you thinking?
Southern Columbia right now knows offensively they can still move the ball and do what they have to do. They're going to have to key on that inside run where they pull the guard and the tight end up inside because they're just getting out physical up in there. Now, Mount Carmel, their offensive playbook selection is going to be pretty slim because they're going to have to really keep that quarterback safe because I'm sure they don't want to have, go into, that Tiger formation that they run, the Wildcat.
So who are the all-time winningest programs in state history? Well, there you go, Mount Carmel and Berwick. Don't forget about Berwick, right in from District 2, Easton in the middle there. 885 total wins overall, 5 titles for Mount Carmel. I mean, combined tonight, we have 17 state championships on the field in both programs. Just an amazing accomplishment.
And to say this is all Northeast Pennsylvania football. Well, Central Pennsylvania now that we're down the Heartland. These teams down here, I mean, it's a different mindset. The communities buy into everything that these coaches do. It trickles down into the Pee Wee football. So the kids know.
And it took us a whole half. And it's Brett Veach, Kansas City general manager for the Chiefs.
I forgot.
Now they have a nice plaque over there at the stadium for him, for Brett Veach, one of the all-time greats for Mount Carmel. Running the show with Andy Reid. Has a Super Bowl title, not too bad.
Hey, we know that, yeah. And then
they have some quarterbacks pretty good, don't they?
They do.
Kansas City?
They have a decent one, yeah. I think, And then Henry Hynoski.
Yep.
Right? Southern Columbia guy. He's at Shamokin right now, but he played in the NFL. I mean, there's been so many great football programs here in Pennsylvania, especially in this Northeast area that we cover.
Absolutely. So Yagodinski tees it up, going to kick it away from Wisloski. Wise, this will just get into the end zone, and Southern Columbia will have the ball right at the 20-yard line, trying to take their first lead of the night, and they happen to be semi-happy about the way they played in the first half. They're in this game. Everyone thought maybe it could be a blowout, but no, their defense is playing pretty well. Their offense doing just enough to put points on the board.
Keep them in this game, and right now, Coach Dara probably told his quarterback, don't go out and try to do anything outside of what you normally have to do. You don't have to win the game, just make sure you play the game. And Southern, we know how disciplined and how great of a program they are, and you can never count them out.
Well, we know those two teams will be in the District 4 AA playoffs. Wisloski, not much there from him. Loss on the play. Maddox Reed, the junior, shooting in, and they're keying on the Maryland recruit.
Well, if you can contain him, that's going to take a lot of their offense away, and you can see just coming in there. That was a great read by Reed, no pun intended, from his linebacker position.
But, when we watch films of Southern Columbia, they would do this, and all of a sudden, Wisloski breaks one, or they break one. They've gotten the big plays they needed this year.
They have, and we can't count them out, that they are that good of an offensive team that they'll hurt you. It just takes a little bit of time.
Play action down the middle. Little short, and it will be intercepted again. This time, Verano pulls it in. It's the third INT of the night for Weiss. It's the third INT for Verano on the season.
I'm not sure. I want to see if there's pressure from number 30. No, he must have hit his arm at the end. That's why that ball was floating in there. That was number 30 for Mount Carmel.
30?
Number 30, yeah.
And Liam Bradley is senior. So another turnover for the Tigers, and Mount Carmel has the ball inside Southern territory at the 37. First play is a big gain.
And again, look who's leading blocking up inside the guard center gap, number 88. Matt Shikatana. I'll tell you what, when you have a kid like Matt that is going to Coastal Carolina, he's a big kid, and it's the total team effort right there. He doesn't care if he's getting the ball. If he leads blocks and they score a touchdown, he knows that he contributed.
6'4", 275. Diaz up for a figure law first down inside the 25.
You have this type of firepower up front. Just use your horses and then let Diaz do what he does best. See, he just hits, he spins, and again, he even fell forward for an extra yard.
Well, this is, I think, the philosophy that Coach Dara is going to have to take until he can get this quarterback up. And you don't want to lose another quarterback, so just hand the ball off.
Well, you got guys like Blessing, Diaz, Widener, and then Shikatano on the outside at that tight end spot.
Diaz again, little gap, holds on to the ball inside the 20, and they're in the red zone again for Mount Carmel.
Then you get guys like Verano out there and Farinato. I mean, they just got a plethora of players that can do damage to you.
And kind of that reminds me of Lakeland, because Lakeland has all those weapons when we saw them against Prep in the opening game. Mount Carmel definitely has the formula for winning football. Blessing inside the 15, about a yard short. So they're inside the Allied Services red zone again. Two down, definitely 2 downs to get the first down here if you're Coach Dara and Mount Carmel.
Well, there's no reason to go for a field goal. They know they can pound this ball in.
Same formation. Behind the big line, Blessing gets to the outside, sheds a couple blocks, and he's in for a Red Tornado touchdown. "13-yard scamper for the sophomore."
And you'll see 72, 58, 88. They pulled 3 guys to get that outside. And Blessing, he just does a great job getting that ball in there. It's just amazing how they can do this.
Jakuzinski. Oh, this one's going to be called back. Illegal motion against Mount Carmel. So far, the sophomore kicker's been perfect, but he has been a handful this year coming in. Especially against Hughesville last week. I think he missed 3 straight.
He did, and that puts doubt in the back of the kicker's mind. It definitely puts it in the coach's mindset, but sometimes you just got to let these kids work it through.
There you go. It's blocked. So after the INT, Mount Carmel turns it into points. They lead by 6 now here in the 3rd quarter.
Right there. Number 8, Jake Tuzlowski, 6'2", 180-pound senior, comes flying in.
We'll be right back. We are back. The kick is taken by Southern Columbia. Good return. I didn't get a number on that. But the Tigers will be set up with good field position. Somehow, a Mount Carmel player has the ball. A couple of injuries, but we have a little bit of a break. Hopefully they're okay, but let's go down to Amanda now with Dr. Todd Smile Cam, second half version. Thank you to the Southern Columbia cheerleaders. And once again, another injury for Mount Carmel on the far side. Looks like it's Michael Farinato, number 4, who's down. And looks like he's back up. That would be a big loss as well. You talked about Chase Belichick, number 1. You see he's back in there after you said he was shaken up. So, a couple of injuries mounting up for, no pun intended, Mount Carmel. So here come the Tigers.
I'm not laughing at that, Bob. I mean, the pun that you made, but they really are, and it's a shame.
That big defensive line is holding everything up. And leading the way is number 88, Mr. Shikatano.
He took on the block. He's pushing him. He kept one arm free, and he grabs the running back. Look at this. Oh, that is awesome. What great awareness football-wise. And he's still fighting off number 72 there.
Well, that's why the 275-pound senior's headed to the Division I college. Blowing things up in the middle there. We saw that happen last week with Crestwood, with Magnus Bibla controlled that game.
Oh, he had the game of his life.
5 sacks. Weiss again, even at the INT. He has plenty of running room. He has a figure law first down inside Red Tornado territory. Big gain there. Looks like about 17.
Great awareness right there. The pass pocket collapses, and what does he do? He just steps up like quarterbacks are coached to do, and he runs for that first down. Keep the drive alive.
13 on that for the junior quarterback, and it keeps this drive moving. And let's see if that all big PAT miss comes to haunt the Red Tornadoes. Kozlowski powering his way up to the 35. When he needs some yardage, you give it to number 24.
Braden Kozlowski, nice job. Look at this, lead block by 20, puts his hand on his back, and now he's just spinning. And you saw 14 coming in there trying to strip that ball out of him. That was Garrett Verano, number 14, trying to go for the strip.
Inside trap to Biermas, and he's got a big gainer inside the 5. 31 yards for the junior on the quick hitter.
This is a what a response to Mount Carmel's touchdown drive after the interception. They come back, and we talked about this. This is the same stuff that Southern did before. They put you to sleep with Murphy out there and Wisloski, and what do? They get a big gain from Biermas in there with that fullback trap.
First and goal inside the Allied Services red zone for all the Tigers. Madden already has a touchdown, and he's going to be just short of one more.
Lined up in that full house backfield. Looks like 3 guys straight across for the viewers that aren't watching tonight. And they just pound that ball. The first man goes guard, tackle, gap. Here you go. And they just kick it to the outside. Good flow by Mount Carmel right there. Number 14 coming up there to save that touchdown. That's Garrett Verano.
Number 2 again, and it is a Tiger touchdown. They answer quickly, and with the PAT, they can take the lead. A late flag comes in. I believe this touchdown will count. There's just a late hold. Fritz Snyder, our referee tonight.
Is good. We have a dead ball, sportsmanlike against the offense. That'll be a, yeah. Be a 15-yard penalty. We got to figure out where they want it.
Inside the conversation there, so this will go against Southern. A little jawing and unsportsmanlike conduct. But Isaac Carter in now for the extra point that can give Southern Columbia their first lead of the night. So if I told you Brandon Wisloski didn't have a touchdown yet and the Tigers were winning, you would say?
You're crazy. There's no way that could be, but he's been doing what he needs to do to help his team out in here. Talking with Braden before the game, and I asked him, I said, who's your favorite NFL team? The Commanders.
Well, he got a win last night. Wasn't good to watch, but they did get a win. And I got some great fantasy points, by the way.
Oh, did you really?
Well, decent. Okay, so this is a long field goal now. 35-yard extra point for Isaac Carter. He has the leg, high snap, kick is up, and the kick is good. A huge PAT for Isaac Carter, and it's a 1-point lead for Southern Columbia.
NFL on Fox this Sunday starts with the NFL kickoff show at 11. Then at 1, Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers battle a struggling 1 and 4 Pittsburgh Steelers. Fox NFL Sunday, only on Fox 56.
6 plays, 54 yards for Southern Columbia. The Carter point after kick is up and good, and it's a 1-point lead for Southern Columbia. The first time tonight, trying to make it 15 straight over the Red Tornadoes. And boy, Mount Carmel will be devastated. And they really expect it to come in here at undefeated, averaging 44 points per game, and play this Tiger team tough and even lead. But boy, it's been back and forth ever since that first quarter.
And this is a game that we hope for. We circled this back in August saying these two teams, the expectations, and this is just a great high school football game, separated by 1 point.
Carter puts the leg into it. Diaz from his 6. Already has one big return. He breaks a couple tackles. Carter makes the tackle himself for Southern Columbia, and Mount Carmel will have it at the 36. So back to work.
Well, Coach Roth is probably saying, please don't kick to him. And, look at how this kid can hit, stop. He bounces off people. He makes people miss. And then look at that. I love the way that he wrapped that up and he just dropped them.
So behind the freshman quarterback, Gavin Marshalik. Here comes Mount Carmel again. Now they're trailing for the first time. Same play to Blessing. We've seen this several times tonight. Gets positive yards. Now it also keeps the Tiger offense off the field.
It does, and this is the first time that Mount Carmel's ever been behind this season. Again, you see big 88 coming in there into your screen, into your living rooms there, and he's also being helped by number 58, Kellen Geary, the 6 foot, 250-pound senior.
Well, these two teams are definitely battle-tested because, you know, North Schuylkill against Mount Carmel week 1 was a battle. And, of course, those 2 losses, Danville and Loyalsock for Southern Columbia. Madden shaking up a little, but it is a figure law first down for Diaz and the Red Tornadoes.
Well, Farinato had a good carry from his wing position in here. Gets at, you see the lead blockers in there, 44. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see that snap directly to the fullback at some point, because they've done that to teams and they just catch them by surprise.
Well, they just took off the quarterback, so it's coming right now, Coach. Little single wing, Farinato now in, playing quarterback. I say playing because he's going to run it. Right up the middle, behind his big line, and we have a flag from behind. And it's holding against the Red Tornadoes. Southern Columbia defense now going to be tested here with the 1-point lead.
Stop it! Stop it! Stop it if you see.
So
Illegal shift against the offense. That's a 5-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
So now backs up Mount Carmel.
Well, they started, too many guys were going in motion, hence the shift, illegal shift.
So the backyard brawl here in the third quarter. Bob I, Jan Cechak, Amanda Cool on the sidelines. Hopefully keeping warm tonight. A little bit chilly. Trying to get things sorted out with the clock. It is, and we're back to the offense. Shalik back on as the quarterback. Verano up to midfield. So gets that penalty back, plus a little bit.
Well, they want to stay on schedule offensively. That's what Coach Darrow wants to do. And again, nice job by their big offensive line getting out and shielding anybody in a black jersey to allow their running backs to weave and bob in there to get those extra yards.
We've seen a lot of Diaz, Verano, Farinato, and of course Blessing running the ball. So 4 running backs getting their touches tonight. Freshman quarterback right down the middle to a wide open Farinato. Pulls it in. And Mount Carmel's in business inside the Allied Services red zone.
Well, I'll tell you, Coach Darrow has a freshman quarterback in there, and he's not afraid to throw the ball. And again, he's had 2 successful passes like this. Nice right down the middle, and that's just broken coverage right there. But good heads-up awareness by the Tigers to come back. And again, good fighting in there by their linebacker to come back, number 32. Dominic Fedorov comes back and saves that touchdown.
35-yard gain, and here we go for Mount Carmel now trying to take the lead back.
That was the fullback.
There is the fullback, which you called a direct snap to the junior Widener, and he powers his way up to the 10.
They just get that, and he just follows that big offense. Hurdles number 58 right there. I love it. I mean, they're just showing their athleticism and their strength right now. Mano a mano.
Bloom with the tackle for Southern Columbia. Mount Carmel came in averaging 274 yards on the ground this season. Did have a season high of 382 against Bloomsburg. Trying to match that here, and up for a figure law first down goes Mount Carmel. First and goal for the Red Tornadoes inside the Allied Services red zone. 2:33 left and counting here in the third.
Diaz just following all those big boys up front and just again, he's just so explosive. It's amazing to watch this young man run, and he's only a junior.
Diaz has 1 touchdown tonight. Blessing's only a sophomore. Quarterback's off. And Blessing may have moved early. Someone moved early. I don't know, Blessing was leaning, waiting for the snap from Langton. This is, I think, will back up the Red Tornadoes 5. Make it 1st and goal from the 10. So little mistakes, just costing Mount Carmel a little bit, but we'll see if how much it costs them.
Offense, that's a 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Yeah, so delay of game, which second time tonight.
With their offense, though, you would think most teams then this would be counterproductive. This just gives them more field to work with at this point. So Coach Darrow's going to be frustrated. He knows when he watches the film tonight the things that they can work on to correct and make themselves better. And again, they're all fixable mistakes.
Goes out to the 9. So from the 9, Mount Carmel trying to take back the lead. Shalleck's back in there. Diaz weaves and is hit and stood up. Bregman makes the tackle, I think.
Now watch 16 and 14 still carry their fakes out, and there's defenders, there's black jerseys out there covering them, but they just do a great job swarming to the ball on that to drop him.
That was a sophomore Fedorov. Stood him up, 2nd down. Southern would love to hold them to a field goal here. Get the ball back. Inside, Farinado weaves and gets the turf monster, took him down. I hope he's okay. The knee may have given out too. He comes up limp to the 2-yard line.
Looks like he has a knee brace on there,
Yeah.
and that was, you called the turf monster in there. Stops, cuts right there, nice cut right there, just slipped right out of him.
Almost like he twisted his left knee or ankle. And he goes down, so another injury. 1:02 left in the 3rd for the Red Tornadoes. Tough night already. They already lost their starting quarterback, who was their backup, Matthew Belichick, with a arm injury. And hopefully the sophomore is doing well. Farinado back up, he's a senior.
Well, what's key to this is he's got to come off for one play. Hopefully he's okay. But they do count on him on defense, too. So they're going to have to get their next cornerback ready to fill in for him in case he can't go.
3rd and goal now for the Red Tornadoes, trailing by 1 after a failed PAT on their last touchdown. John Dara, 8th season, 58 and 30 coming in. One of the best seasons since 2011 for this team. Trying to go on, still undefeated, trying to go 8-0 for a long time. Blessing behind the line, arms are up, and it's a Mount Carmel touchdown.
You can see it's starting to get cool out there. You can start seeing the kids' breath out there as they're breathing. And he just had his head down and he just kept his legs pumping in there for that touchdown. Luke Blessing's 2nd touchdown of the evening.
Here we go again.
You see, look at that.
Good blocks.
Those guys in the white jerseys, all they're doing is they're shielding the Tigers right now and allowing the running backs to pick their holes to run through.
Go for 2, kind of the right play. Blessing again, he makes it. Just gets the ball over. The 2-point conversion is good. And it's back to a 7-point lead for the Red Tornadoes late in the 3rd. Now it's turned into a fight going back and forth round by round.
You see right in there. Oh, he went right up over number 58, and he fell in there for the touchdown. He did reach the ball out. That's why that 2-point conversion went for good.
So the sophomore takes that one in, and we're back in front for the Red Tornadoes.
Look at this replay again. See all those bodies in their white jerseys. Look at 28. He takes that on. Again, he's not really putting his shoulder into it. He's just shielding them, allowing the running back to do their jobs.
Lessig's third touchdown of the night, Coach.
Oh, excuse me,
Diaz
I
has
said
the other
second.
one.
I apologize.
You jumped the gun.
Ah.
Come on. 3 for number 24. Now Southern now trailing. As expected, going back and forth. And once these offenses got going, any little play like an interception or turnover can really cost you right now.
And we saw that how Mount Carmel made the Tigers pay with that interception when they turned that into pay dirt. And you've heard announcers say this forever. Whoever has the ball last, I think, is going to win this game.
Taken from the 6 by Murphy. And Murphy taken down just outside the 25 by Jacob Zarski, the senior. So here come the Tigers back on with this offense. Averaging 33 points a game coming in, 266 on the ground, as you might expect. No fumbles tonight so far, just 3 interceptions from Blake Weiss, the quarterback. Wozlowski does not have a touchdown yet. Wozlowski gets to the outside. Schultz finally grabs him down, throws him out of bounds. It is a figure law first down, though, but a big gain from the senior.
There's nothing there. I mean, they're trying to get that power game going. There's nothing there. There's 8 white jerseys. He cuts back, uses his speed, but watch the angle that Schultz has on him right there. That's just a good pursuit angle that's coached, that every coach does. They do pursuit drills every single day.
So after the 12-yard gain, here comes Tigers again. Inside give to Biermus. They broke one of those before. This time Mount Carmel is there to make the stop. Now Biermus shaken up a little bit. We'll stop the clock with 12 seconds left.
They just go in there. This is just a base dive play in here. Let's see what happens. I don't know if I think I'm hoping it's just a cramp. Yep, his legs up in the air. That's usually
a little bit of a cramp. Like we said, it's getting cool out tonight. So let's take a look at the District 4 standings now in 3A, and this we think is probably one of the more bigger battles this year. We have 4 teams in there. Montoursville, unfortunately, losing big to Jersey Shore tonight. Mifflinburg was beating Milton. Loyal Sock was winning, and Danville was actually shutting out Berwick last check. So they moved to 8-0, but that should be a very good tournament in 3A in District 4.
And we saw we broadcast Danville, Loyal Sock. We know they're 2 good teams. The dark horse to me is Mifflinburg. I mean, I've been reading about them. I see that they're doing things really well. So it's going to be a good one.
Biermus comes off after the cramp, so it should be the last play of the 3rd quarter for Southern Columbia.
It's always misleading when it starts getting cool out that kids cramp up, and that's because you're not drinking as much as you used to when it was hot out, drinking the Gatorades and just keeping hydrated.
Wozlowski tripped over his own player, and that should do it here in the 3rd. So the backyard brawl is coming down to the 4th quarter. Mount Carmel right now has the lead by 7, but will that stand? We'll find out. 4th quarter on the way from Catawissa next.
Welcome back to Friday Night Rivals on MyTV. WQMY Mount Carmel leads Southern Columbia 28-21. It's now time to meet some of the best and brightest of our student athletes. Every week we meet some scholar athletes who will have the opportunity to compete for a scholarship at the end of the year. So let's meet tonight's Figured Law Firm scholar athletes. From Mount Carmel, Leah Shedleski. She's the captain of the soccer team and a member of the cheer and track teams. She's a member of the National Honor Society and her class secretary. She's enrolled in the Bloomsburg University ACE program, and she's planning on attending Penn State to study pre-law. From Southern Columbia, Eddie Zuber is the captain of his soccer team and a member of the wrestling and track teams, president of the National Honor Society, and in the History Club and Peer Leadership Club. He would like to run track at Bucknell and study civil engineering. Bob, Jan, two more impressive student athletes this week.
Great accomplishments again.
Awesome.
These kids doing off of the campus as well. I mean, that's what makes great rounded students.
So a couple of figure law first downs for the Tigers. Has the ball inside the Red Tornado territory. They power the way up for a couple more. 3rd down and 3 facing the Tigers.
And a flag came in at the end of the play, so.
I missed the initial call. I think it's coming back, though.
It was, I believe it's holding on the Tigers.
Holding offense, 10 yards from the spot, repeat 2nd down. Come on, boys.
Well, I think it's more important for the Tigers to win tonight, more confidence and better seeding, because Troy has a couple tough games coming up, as we saw, as we know, but they can still get that 2nd seed. Mount Carmel, even with the loss, probably is going to get the top seed in AA in District 4.
Just when it comes down to head-to-head, yes, they will.
Good inside to Murphy. And Murphy from Wazlowski gets a little bit of that holding back. It's going to be 3rd down and 10.
It's good to see Biermoss, number 20 for the Tigers, is back out there after that cramp. Here we go. There's that double reverse that they've been running. And nice job in there, except number 10's got to go to the next white jersey. You don't need to double team.
Coronado is back. We talked about him. He got injured from Mount Carmel. He's out number 4 in the cornerback. Belichick is back in as Weiss goes to the air, and it's picked off by Schultz. It's the 4th interception for the Red Tornadoes tonight.
He's in his outside linebacker going to his hook to curl. Watch him break on this ball. Ball is actually low and away, and he just breaks right inside there. Does that perfectly, pulls the ball up on his chest, spins, so there's no doubt in anybody's mind that he picked that off.
The junior's first interception of the year, and it could be a big one. So an opportunity now to take a 2-score lead if Mount Carmel can march down the field. See a lot of the ground game, I'm sure, now for the Red Tornadoes, and it starts with a Diaz handoff. 14 straight losses for this Mount Carmel team against Southern. Their last win was 2011.
There he is again, number 80. I keep saying his name because he's such a large specimen out there, and he's just doing his great job for his team, lead blocking up on that inside, allowing Diaz to get those 5-6 yards, if not more.
To wrap the ball up if you're Mount Carmel. You cannot afford a fumble. Inside the Farinado. Has the room. Breaks it out. Wazlowski's limping down the field. I'm surprised he didn't catch him, but it's a big gain to the 10. 57 yards. To the 15, 52 yard.
Great hustle by number 26, Loudon Murphy, to save the touchdown on this. Farinado does a great job, sprints. He's too occupied looking at Wazlowski right here, and he forgets. Watch this great effort in there.
Wazlowski's a former state champion in the 100-yard, and I'm surprised. It almost looked like he was limping a little bit, a little gimpy. To the 15, inside the Allied Services red zone, after the figure law first down for Mount Carmel. Already up 7. Diaz He can break to the outside. He has the speed, and he has a Red Tornado touchdown.
Big Noah Shinko, 6'5", 290-pound sophomore, and Kellen Geary. They just did student body left. They pulled those guys, a frontside guard tackle. Look at that. And watch how he just shields them in there. Doesn't have to pancake them. 77 just gets in the way of 20. Biernas, and again, Diaz just gets an easy touchdown on that.
Another turnover converted into points for Mount Carmel. Zinski's PAT is just through. 9:07 left. You see the score. It's a 2-score lead for the Red Tornadoes, trying to win it for the first time since 2011 against the Tigers.
UNB Bank is proud to be your hometown bank and fully supports high school football. With locations in Mount Carmel and Numidia, UNB offers lending that's local, service that's personal, and banking that's trusted. UNB Bank, supporting our community for over a century.
Blake Weiss, 4 turnovers tonight, all through the air. 4 interceptions for the Red Tornadoes. And you can see they're trying to get well balanced. They just don't have that passing game mastered yet here for the Tigers.
And
I mean, it's as simple as that, right? I mean,
it is that simple. And their wing teams, quarterbacks are not known to be great passers, and their percentages are going to be off, skewed. And Coach Roth, again, no one's going to question him because of his resume and what he's done. He's trying to get bounce. He's trying to get ready for playoffs to show that they can pass the ball.
Oh, they may get Wes Barnes back in the playoffs. That would be huge. Murphy trying to pick up some blocks, weaves his way through, just past the 25, and here comes the Tigers now trailing by 2 scores left, 8:59 remaining in this one. Mount Carmel, our number 4 team in our Friday Night Rivals top 10, trying to stay undefeated.
Well, Coach Roth, I mean, he's got so much knowledge in there, and his staff, they're tremendous. They know what to do. The kids know what to do. They just have to start executing.
And there's really just no running room for Wisloski and his teammates. This front 7, let's call it, really starting to dominate the Tigers.
They really are. I mean, they're just physical. Their sheer physical size is taking over. They run that 3-4. They move really well to the ball. As you can see, there's so many white jerseys in your viewing area right now. It's just, he's got nowhere to run, and he's just going to keep pounding away at it.
Weiss back again, out into the flat, trying to connect over there. Kyle Chrisman, number 1, but it's thrown well out of his reach.
Again, I like that call. 2nd and 8. You know what? It's that, do we run it? Do we pass it? Let's get the confidence back. We're going to say, you know what? You can still, Blake, we believe in you. We were going to keep throwing the ball.
Blake again quickly gets it out, and he connects with Tazlowski. That's actually Jake Hoy, number 6, who pulls it in. Big gain to the 47.
That was their balanced formation. They had 2 slots, 2 split ends. You know it's a passing formation for them. And that was a nice job. Nice ball, nice strike. And again, he gets out of bounds. He took a hit, though.
So the figure law first down for the Tigers. Keeping this drive alive. Three-step drop. Can't find anybody under pressure. Just throws it out of bounds. No flag. There was really no one in the area.
Let's see if he's out. Well, he started at the right hash. He ends up throwing this ball at the left hash. So I think he was out of the tackle box on that one. So sigh of relief from the Tiger faithful here, because they were waiting for that flag to come out and it didn't.
Weiss again has protection. Gonna try to get it to the outside to Wisloski, and he can't get anywhere, and he's a little frustrated. I don't know if he's just not feeling it.
I think
or just frustration.
I think, Bob, you mentioned earlier, he just doesn't look like he's 100%. So he's probably not able to go as fast, because that was actually a nice design play, not a bad ball. He's not there. He just doesn't look like he has the jets on. Now you can see that he's like frustrated with himself.
So 3rd and long now for Southern. Weiss back. I mean, the protection's been really, really good. Has some running room, but he slides down. Almost takes a hit from Schultz, but that'll be about a yard gain. 4th down now.
Well, with this balanced formation that they're running, I'd like to see him back in the shotgun personally. It would just give him a little bit more time. His field of vision would be a little bit better.
Almost took a big hit from Schultz. Good job for Schultz to get out of the way, the junior. So 4th down, Carter's into punt. Tigers trailing by 2 touchdowns. High snap, it's over his head. And the chase is on. And Carter gets it off, being the experienced punter he is. Gets it through a bunch of red tornadoes. In fact, Arnhem, number 28, gave him a high five.
Look at that. Heads, I mean, the ball went over his head. Carter, smart, gets the ball, tries to square up. He does, gets a good kick. He actually got a net or a plus 20 on that for field position.
Bailey gave him a high five after it. That's the experience of Isaac Carter.
Tomorrow is another nonstop all-day college football Saturday on Fox. Game 1 kickoff is at noon with 2 undefeated teams. Number 10, Penn State, at number 5, Michigan. Then Wisconsin battles Michigan State. And finally, USC travels to take on Utah. Get your fill of college football all day tomorrow, only on Fox 56.
Under 7 to play here in the backyard brawl. 7 yards on the carry by Blessing.
Look at that opens up the way they run that. I'm going to call it that a tight end power, where they're pulling those guys up in the inside. It's just opening up like the Red Seas when they can get 7-8 yards. And when Diaz gets the ball, he's so explosive with his speed, he could be gaining, 20 or 30 yards a clip.
Blessing has 3 touchdowns. Diaz has 2. Farinado, running room, has a figure law first down, jumps through to past the 40. And really, I think the difference is pretty obvious tonight. It's just the line. It's just better than the Tigers line tonight.
And Coach Roth, that was his major concern, how his smaller, inexperienced offensive defensive line could respond to their experience and their physical style of play that the Red Tornadoes do. Yeah, Coach Dara now just taking his time with it. Let's just try to get as much time off the clock as we can.
Southern Columbia led 21-20. It's been 15 unanswered for Mount Carmel to take back the lead. A little bobble in the backfield from Blessing. Pulls it in, picks up positive yardage. And, got another cramp, I think.
Yeah, Madden came up. He made that tackle. He came up a little bit.
It's a Mount Carmel
player that's down. Yeah, you see that ball was down low.
Good backside tackle by Madden. So we're up to week number 9 next week already, Coach, and we'll head back up to the Lackawanna League. Check out that as Abington Heights and North Pocono still both battling for playoff spots, believe it or not. 5A against 4A. And you know, it could be a pretty good game against the Comets and the Trojans, and then we'll end back in the Wyoming Valley Conference and kind of the Battle of the Bridge, I guess.
No, it's singular now.
It's a bridge.
It's the only
the
bridge.
only bridge in Pittston. Yeah,
Pittston to West Wyoming. Yeah. So that's always such a great rivalry game, and we're going to see how that does up there at Charlie Trippi Field.
Okay, we'll do some playoffs in the 11th, and we're happy to have the Mayor's Cup game back. Kings versus Wilkes. The last time, right now, the two teams will meet as members of the Middle Atlantic Conference.
Yeah, the closest rivalry in college in the United States is Wilkes and Kings.
So Langton comes off. He is their center. So we'll have to see who's going to snap the ball. Looks like 55 will come in. Logan Herb. And he'll snap the ball. Herb is just listed as a freshman at 6'3", 245.
Oh, just 6'3", 245 freshman only, huh? Wow. Mount Carmel's doing something nice down there to get these big offensive linemen.
Well, Shipko's just a sophomore. He's 6'5", 290. And I even told my son, I said, look at this kid. My son's a sophomore in high school. He's a pretty big kid himself.
Yeah, how big is he, Bob?
He's about, I don't know, 6'2". He's about 225 himself. But 6'5", 290, a sophomore?
That's huge. You can't, yeah. And he moves well. It's not like he's, an overweight kid. He's just a big, solid kid. And 2 more years in the weight room, he's going to be a bigger stud than he is now.
So now it's just a matter of working the clock if you're Mount Carmel on 3rd down. You're not really worried about picking up the first. Just want to roll the clock. Verano, he gets taken down quickly up near the 50, and it's 4th down.
Garrett Verano does a nice job with his wing counter coming in there. 44 and 15, lead blocking up in there. He just dips his shoulder, and he takes on 3 black jerseys right there.
Bloom and Fedorov with the tackle from their linebacker positions. And you know what? Thinking about Mount Carmel's did a nice job getting to the 2nd level, getting those linebackers. The linebackers are the key for this Tigers defense.
They flow and they hit you so hard, but they're being neutralized by those running backs getting up there, Bob, as you said, to the 2nd level.
Timeout on the field for Mount Carmel. They were going to go for it on 4th down. Instead, Coach Dare calls his first timeout of the 2nd half, 4:26 remaining. Coming up at the end of the game, we'll have our players of the game, brought to you by the Army National Guard. So, let's quickly dive into state playoffs. It's able to find the state playoffs, and this District 4 team is going to play against District 6. District 2 winner is going to start against District 11. So, the District 2 and 4 could meet in the finals, Eastern Finals. So that would be an interesting matchup.
It's going to be, especially when you get those cross-district rivals going.
So Agazinski gets the punt off. Murphy is back to receive it and finally gets away from it. It will die right around the 16-yard line. Tigers have the ball as some people are starting to file out here from Southern Columbia, as their team is looking at a 5-3 start. Well, Mount Carmel could improve to 8-0 for the first time since 1996.
Wow. I believe that was Whitey Sullivan was the coach back then.
Whitey Williams.
Whitey Williams, I'm sorry.
Sullivan.
Yeah.
Whitey might even be watching. Sorry, Whitey. Yeah, I didn't mean that. Whitey could be at Notre Dame. Likes to travel out there. I saw him out there one time, too.
Did you really?
Yeah, Weiss to the air. To Hoy. Pulls it in. It's a figure law 1st down. Nice gain up to the 32. That was a nice looking pass. So a big gain for Southern. This game's not over yet.
Well, we know that Southern Columbia is not going to stop until the whistle blows, but that was a nice ball, good placement. And again, he gained 5 yards after the catch. Nice job.
Weiss over the middle, picked off. Belichick, number 1, hauls it in. His 3rd INT of the season, the 5th of the night for Southern Columbia.
Bob, if you start the headline tomorrow, if you were to write it and said Southern Columbia has 5 turnovers, nobody would ever expect that or believe that. And that's exactly been the difference in this game this evening.
5 picks for the Red Tornadoes, 3:48 left in this one, and the drought could be over for this Red Tornado team.
We were talking with their athletic director before the game, and he said this is their 4th trip to Tiger Stadium in 2 years.
2 were in the playoffs, 2 in the regular season, and that's mostly because they play in different divisions now for the PHAC, and it just worked out that with the 5 home games that each team gets, that they ended up at the Tiger Stadium. But right now, if they pull it out, Mount Carmel, if they end up playing them in the finals, it will be at the Silver Bowl. So great traditions on both sides, a great backyard brawl as expected. But it's been the turnovers that have cost Southern Columbia, and really the big offensive line of Mount Carmel that has dominated.
It certainly has.
Back inside the Verano, he's got a hole. It's closed quickly.
He went down hard too. It's like, boy, there's number 70 right now is limping for them. That's Michael Langen. You see that they come with that wing counter. He comes in. Watch how he just tripped over somebody. That's why he went down so hard.
Well, Carmel will take on Shikellamy next week before they end the season at Mount Shamokin. While next week District 2 will invade Tiger Stadium as Wyoming area comes down.
Huh. Well, that would be a good bounce back game, especially for some power points there.
They're going to see a big running game from Aaron Crosley in Wyoming area. Not the biggest line. Not like this line.
No.
Diaz comes through. He's got a couple touchdowns, so it's a figure law first down, and that may just about do it. Well, Carmel fans to their feet, knowing how important this is. It's a big win, but still not yet a district title. That's the goal, right?
Absolutely. They had this circled on their calendar. This is, where they wanted to be at this point. 7-0, going to 8-0. Their first win here, or first win over them since 2011.
Bernardo taken down quickly
by number 31.
So it's back to the drawing board if you're the Tigers.
Colden Bloom on that, the 6', 200-pound junior, did a nice job staying home and dropping him for a short gain. You see just Mount Carmel right now is just taking their time, letting the clock expire. Not set up in a victory formation, though.
Wyoming area will come into Tiger Stadium after a win over Lake Lehman. It was close for a little bit for the Warriors. Under a minute to play. One more snap of the ball, and that will do it, I think. As Blessing comes up, Gimpy. It's going to be a tough job for the athletic trainer this week.
You never wish that on any athletic trainer. But boy, these kids, these two teams have battled all night. You've seen the attrition that's occurring and how these kids are getting banged up because they are playing at a high level.
One more snap to the freshman. Blessings had a big night, and that should just about do it. Everyone's going to get off the pile on injury, and the drought is over for Mount Carmel. It's the first win over Southern Columbia since 2011, and for the first time since the mid-90s, they go to 8-0 on the season.
Well, congratulations to Coach Darren in the Mount Carmel area. Congrats to them. I mean, they've worked hard. This is something that they circle, but again, now it's just another game. They'll celebrate on the bus ride home, and then it's back to work tomorrow, and then they've got their next opponent next Friday night.
And our best wishes go out to Matthew Belichick, the starting quarterback, who was injured in the second quarter for Mount Carmel. Amanda waiting with our players of the game, and it will be Xavier Diaz, who has 2 touchdowns, and Luke Blessing, who has 3. Then all the scoring tonight, the underclassmen are players of the game. So we'll wait for Amanda on that. Coach Dara pulls off the big win. Picks up win number 59, maybe one of the more important ones in his career.
I would say it's probably, well, other than his first victory, this is probably going to be right there.
So the 5-time defending state champion's going to have a hard road, getting back to the state finals. Coming up next week, we'll be back at North Pocono, live here on MyTV, starting at 7, as it's the Comets and the Trojans up in the Lackawanna League. So our Army National Guard players of the game are with Amanda. Oh, Amanda, plaque is given over to Mount Carmel, and this team must be excited about this win for the first time.
That's right. Our players of the game are Xavier Diaz and Luke Blessing. Guys, congratulations. It's been 15 years since your school has beat Southern Columbia. How good does that win feel?
It feels incredible. It's just great. Our team, we're working all summer for this. We've been waiting for this game. It's been on a calendar for 9 months. Since last season, we came here. We said we're not losing one more game ever. And we came down here. We said we're never losing this team again. We came down. We did our stiff all week. We won every day, and we came out and we won.
15 unanswered points. What motivates that comeback to really extend that lead?
I'm lost for words. I don't even know what to say. We just knew we had to dig deep, play our hearts out. We just didn't give up.
Is this a game that you can gauge, going into the postseason where your team is at?
Yeah, I think this win's huge. We have so much momentum now. We're gonna get the 1 seed most likely. We're gonna get home field advantage in the playoffs. I think this is great. This is a great team win.
Thank you guys. Congratulations and good luck.
Thank you.
Bob, Jan, back to you.
And really, a lot of credit has to go. I know they're players of the game, but really, those 5 guys up front really controlled the offense and the offensive line against that Tigers defensive line, and they're main reasons why Mount Carmel pulled off this big win.
They really did. They dominated up front. They showed that 50-pound difference is huge, and I really liked what Blessing had to say there. There was a quote from Henry Clay that went, "The time will come when Winter will see what you were doing all summer." So it just really, what he just echoed the sentiment, how hard they worked in the offseason, how it's paying off now in the late fall, early winter.
Summer workouts pay off for all those players out there watching. Extra work will pay off in the long run. Our number 4 team, Mount Carmel, finally gets that win over Southern Columbia that has been averted them since 2011. For Amanda, for Jan, this is Bob Ide saying, great job by our crew tonight, and our best wishes go out to Steve Phillips and his family after their family suffered an injury last week. The final score again, the Red Tornadoes over the Tigers, 35-21.
You're watching Allied Services Friday Night Rivals, presented by Tom Hesser Dealerships on MyTV WQMY.